Okay, so third grade, last week we reviewed the vowel consonant E syllable type. Remember, there are 6 syllable types in the English language. We spent a lot of time first quarter on the closed syllable with the short vowel sound. We did that because we reviewed all of the suffixes and we talked about that very important 1-to-1-to-1 rule. 1 syllable, 1 vowel, short, followed by 1 consonant. Remember, you double that final consonant if you add a vowel suffix. We also talked about contractions. So now for second quarter, we're moving on to the vowel consonant E syllable. And last week we reviewed that. Remember, you did that in first grade and in second. So you should be pretty good with that vowel consonant E syllable. Remember, it is 1 vowel, 1 consonant, and then 1 E. I want to review a little bit, though, the R controlled. Do you remember the R controlled? You saw the cards. I don't know if you remember. A-R, car R. O-R, horn or. E-R, her, I-R, bird-er, and you-are, burn-er. Your teacher should have an R-controlled poster in her room. So, these are the R-controlled, and the reason I want to bring R-controlled up with vowel consonant E is I want you to pay close attention to this O-R. Remember, R-controlled was also a review from second grade, not first grade, but second grade. Remember with the O-R, horn, or, if you hear the or sound at the end of a word, you need to put an E. So, for example, if you hear the word core, like the core of the earth is magma, we don't just put C-O-R. You must add that E, making that it looks like a vowel consonant E word. If you talk about sore, that you played a soccer game and now you're sore, you hurt your arm and your arm is sore, you have to add an E if you hear that S, or it's silent, but you must add it. Think about the shore of the ocean. Sh, or, O-R, horn, or, sh, or, right, R controlled. But I don't spell it that way. I have to put an E. Then it almost looks like a vowel consonant E word. Now that's the only one we do it. We do not do it for AR, right? We can still say far. In fact, if I add an E to this, this changes the whole word. It goes from far to fair. This is a kind of fare like you pay money, like to ride a bus, like a bus fare. Car, C-A-R, if I add an E, that changes that to air. So the A-R does not work the same way as the O-R. So just remember, same thing, the E-R doesn't work the same thing, the I-R, the U-R. It only is with the O-R that if you hear or at the end, you must add that E. It's not for AR. If you hear R at the end, you leave it as R. Because if you add an A, that changes it to fair, care. That actually changes what the R controlled sounds like. So let that sink in. If you hear or at the end of the word, you must put an E. It does not change the sound. Core, sore, shore. If it's AR, you leave it. If you hear R at the end, you leave it, because if you add the E, it changes the R to an air sound. Far, fair. Car, care. Bar, like a bar that you hold on to. If you would add an E onto that, it would no longer be bar, it would be bear. That means bare means uncovered or laid out in the open. So let that sink in. Okay, so third grade, now I want to talk about the suffix that looks like a vowel consonant E. It's I-V-E. I've. Now remember, that can also be an exception, like in the word give. In this case, remember, it's an exception in that I, even though it looks like a vowel consonant E, it's a short I sound. Give. Different than 5. That's a long I sound. So sometimes, like in this case, the suffix, it's iv with a short I. In the word give, it's a short I, but this is part of the word. It is not the suffix IVE. This 5 is actually a vowel consonant E, and it's a long vowel sound. 5. Again, that IVE is not the suffix IVE. It is part of the word. This is an exception. And this is a true vowel consonant E word. Remember that V's don't come at the end, only in the word rev. Remember, V's really do not like to be by themselves. We learned that when we talked about the word solve. So even if you hear a V sound at the end of the word, like live, l, I, v, unless you're talking about someone's name. My friend has a daughter named Olivia, and she goes by Liv. If it's someone's name, then that would be a proper noun, and that would be different. But if I want to say live, that I live in Dayton, Ohio, I can't write it like this. It needs to have that E. But it doesn't. Now, this also is live, right? Like in the word alive. That's a schwa. And then live, that's a vowel consonant E, but it can also be live. The suffix iv is different. So the suffix iv, that can be added to a word. So take, for example, the word active. If you are active, act is your base word, iv, you are acting a lot. You're jumping around. You're in action. You're in motion. You are active. If something is inventive, if you are inventive, invent, you like to invent things. If you are inventive, you like to invent things. Creative. If you are creative, you like to create things. Now, if you notice the word create, the base word create is a vowel consonant E. It's an open syllable, cre, and then a vowel consonant E. And if you notice, we drop that E. We're going to talk more about that rule tomorrow. Today, I just want you to realize that IVE can be part of a word, like give, or live, but in this case, it would be a short vowel sound. It sounds like the suffix iv, but IVE can also be a vowel consonant E. Live, alive, jive. If you jive with someone, you're in sync with them. So just that IVE suffix. Inventive, creative, destructive. If you destruct something, you break it apart. Storms, hurricanes, tornadoes can do a lot of damage. They are destructive. Inventive, you like to invent. Creative, you like to create. Active, you like to be active and move around. You like to be in action. Destructive, you destruct. IVE suffix. IVE part of a word, IVE as a vowel consonant E. Let all of that sink in.